Welcome to another Vintage Cube draft here at twitch.tv/McGriff. Um, I was just talking to Chad about not wanting to pick blue cards, but like, look, what am I supposed to do? Not pick Power 9? Yeah, we're gonna take Oko because it's broken, and yeah, that's really all there is to say. Pack is pretty okay. There's a Reanimate, Ewit, Time Spiral. I love Shinobi, but I wouldn't call it like top tier in this cube or anything. But yeah, we're just gonna take yeah. Look. Again, in theory, I wanted to be able to kind of like test that argument further, and like I also could just be splashing blue. I could be like Teamer or Sultai or something. Sultai's pretty good, honestly. I don't mind being Sultai. But yeah, again, there's an Oko in this pack, and well, you know, that's gonna be the game, as they say. Okay, so Ancient Tomb versus Skydiver, I think, is my pick here. I honestly don't think Uro is very good. I'm salty about being salty. Yeah, that's probably not wrong. I think I'm just gonna take Tomb here. I think Tomb is very, very good. Skydiver is also very good, but I think Tomb is just like too good to pass. So I'm just gonna grab that, see what happens. It doesn't really go with my Oko pick, but like it doesn't matter because like we literally played a game yesterday where we were dominating my opponent, and then they played an Oko, and then we just lost. It was it wasn't even that close. You just kind of played an Oko, and you're like, oh, well, I can't win anymore, so that's cool, I guess. So we're gonna try to do that to our opponents this draft instead of being the recipients. Feeling good about it. Feeling good about it. Plenty of ways this can go, including badly, unfortunately. But you know, we're gonna do our best. Gonna do our very, very best. Okay, I think I'm going to take the Verdant Catacombs here. I think a fetch that is likely to be relevant with the Oko that I want is going to be good. And it's also one of the better fetches. It's not a blue fetch, obviously. Like, this would be a lot more interesting if it was just like a Misty Rainforest. But I still think it's better than Baleful Strix. Because, like, Baleful Strix is essentially just, like, pick 3 hard committing myself to living the Sultai life, which I don't need to do. Because, like, Oko is still very splashable if I'm, like, blue X something, or like blue X or green X. So I'm just going to take the fetch land here and keep my options open to like pick up, you know, tropicals and undergrounds and things like that. Be pretty happy about it. So my opinion of Vorinclex has been going pretty steadily up. Like, it's a big dumb idiot, but like it really does do some wonky things, and like being able to just drop planeswalkers onto this thing and just have them installed. Like, obviously, like Oko's alt is not really why you're actually playing Oko all that often. So even though you could install alt with Oko, it's like not that appealing. But I actually think that Vorinclex is just good. Like possibly better than QB. Also, I'm thinking I might put Vorinclex in my Xenagos EDH deck, just because it's like a big, hasty trampler with like relevant text. But that's a very separate train of thought. Yeah, it does make Oko just that much harder to remove. You are not incorrect about that. Yeah, so I think we're gonna grab the Vorinclex here. Having trouble reading some of the signals here, I'm going to be honest. Like, I don't really know what a logical follow-up to these picks is. Like, there's a bunch of good cards. Like, Glorybringer's good, Duretti's good, Walking Ballista's good, but none of them really feel like they do anything in our deck. I guess Walking Ballista Vorinclex is also kind of a cool combo, so we like it essentially just makes Ballista cost X instead of XX, which is pretty powerful, obviously. Not that you're guaranteed to, like, play Vorinclex and then get to cast Ballista, but, like, there's at least some synergy there. Yeah, I don't know. It's also just kind of generally, I think, better than anything else in that pack. I look at Elvish Mystic here. We're kind of looking like we're going to be some sort of, like, green green X pile right now, like maybe some sort of green-blue opposition happening here. Oh yeah, Ancient Two Ballista is also really nice. I did miss that sort of in my appraisal, but I don't disagree with that assessment. Yeah, let's take the Mystic from that pack. I guess Skoo's from this pack and just like cut red. Again, Skoo's weirdly kind of okay with Vorinclex. Okay, yeah, now we just kind of want to be an opposition deck, I guess. We're just sort of green with an Oko, and like, that's fine. Cosima might actually be good in this deck. I don't think Cosima is very good generally, but like, this could be a decent Omen Keel deck in that like we actually want to find the lands, etc., etc. I don't know. I don't know. It's better than anything else in that pack for us. So we're gonna do it. Okay, well, I'll take the Uro on the wheel. Like, I don't think the card's great, but it is in our colors right now, ostensibly, and good. So, sure. I don't like Brainstorm in this kind of deck in the slightest. I don't think Yorion's very good for this deck, but I also think that it's better than anything else in that pack. Sure, Hangerback Walker. Alright, we're just like all in on the Vorinclex memes. Let's do it. I've definitely drafted worse decks. I just feel like we're not doing anything quite broken enough yet. But we've got time. We've got time. It's only pack 1, and we actually just have a deck full of playables so far. Like I haven't picked any like just blatantly sideboard cards yet. There's some cards that I could probably be happy cutting if I get the opportunity to do so, but nothing that I'm like, oh my god, get this out of my deck. All right, well, I broke the streak, but whatever. We'll take a Splyabluff Canal and see if that matters. It's probably not going to. But I mean, if we'd literally just picked up 15 playables, that would have been pretty absurd. I don't think that's very likely to occur. I think that having our 13th pick be our first brick is pretty reasonable. Lighting's kind of weird. Let's see if I can fix that. Is this better? Yeah, it's a little bit better. A bit warmer. Ooh, Biogenicus is not a bad pickup either. Man, I want to find an opposition almost more than any other card in this cube right now. Like, obviously, like, power notwithstanding or whatever. Like, I'll take a Soul Ring over an opposition and stuff. Although I'd be sad about it, to be perfectly honest. But opposition would be great. I will also take Mox Emerald. Ooh, Trop is a bit of a heartbreaker because we're almost guaranteed not to wield that, but like I'm not taking Mox Emerald. That's like actually just good. Like it's an on-color Moxen. It's probably the worst Moxen, funnily enough, but it is also an on-color Moxen, so we're gonna take it. Yeah, sad about the Trop, but what can you do? This pick is a little wonky. I don't really know what I want to do with it. Like Beast Within is extremely mediocre. Cryptic Command feels incredibly ambitious to me. I could see taking the Tundra because it's a fetchable blue source off of like certain fetch lands. Tundra would have been really good if I'd picked up the Windswept Heath from last pack, but I think we took something decent over it. But it also like is another, well, I guess it doesn't help cast Yorion because it's blue and white, so it doesn't matter. So that's not actually a logical train of thought. I'm going to take the Cryptic, but like I'm giving it like some pretty severe side eye. Oh wow, Noble Hierarch is actually just like incredibly perfect. That's just actually incredible for this deck. It's a one drop that fixes both of our colors. So that's easy. Oppo, ooh, there's a Natty Order though, and by Oppo I did mean Treachery. I would definitely take Opposition over Natural Order, but I might take Natural Order over Treachery. That's pretty close. I don't like Daze in a deck that isn't like heavy blue. Like Daze is almost as unplayable as Cryptic Command in my opinion, because you have to pick up an island, right? Like, and that's like a pretty severe cost. So unless you're playing a deck full of like really cheap spells where like strip mining yourself for a turn isn't actually a consequence, I don't like it. I think that it's incredible in the decks where it's good, but it's not just every blue deck wants Daze, no. Man, Treachery is really good, but like Natural Order to get Vorinclex or Avenger of Zendikar, And like if we can find a Crater Hoof, I think this card just leads to more broken top end things happening. Ooh. Ooh, so many good cards. So many good cards. This isn't a great Mana Vault deck by any stretch of the imagination, but like we do have a lot of top end. No, I don't think Mana Vault's the pick here. Jace is also like really bad here. It's like it's a good card, but it's not particularly fantastic. I might just take the Trinket Mage because we have a Mox. Borrower is also good, but like again, I kind of don't want to be as heavy into blue as it's like looking like I am, but maybe I have no choice. I think the pick is either Borrower or Drink. And I'm actually not 100% certain which of those two is better for me. Actually, what am I talking about? Trinket Mage also picks up Hangerback, Walker, and Ballista. Trinket Mage is actually just absurdly good here. I almost missed that. Yeah, never mind. Never mind. That wasn't actually a terribly difficult pick. No, Dak is very, very far removed from the pick, but I agree that that is a tragedy. Shaman is like meh. Honestly, I don't think that card's very good at all. I might just take Sundering Titan here. We have like a decent amount of ramp going, and Sundering Titan is just like a good top-end finisher. I would probably put a Tinker in this deck. Between like Mox Emerald and a couple of like cheap artifacts, and the fact that we have a Trinket Mage, and then having the Sundering Titan at the top kind of gives you like the payoff for that. It's really not over much, I think, is the reason that I'm so fine doing it, too. Like, I just don't feel like I actually lost anything from making that pick. Here, I think I take Commit over Temple Garden. I can't really think of a reason why I'd want Temple Garden. I'll find a reason, inevitably, in, like, 2 picks, but I think Commit's actually just, like, a fine card. It's actually much more likely to make my deck than Cryptic Command is. This is heartbreaking because, like, yeah, I love like Thief of Sanity and Night's Whisper and like Inferno Titan are all like very good cards that I love playing. Restoration Angel as well, but none of them are the pick for this pack, unfortunately. I think I just take a Wall of Blossoms. I'll hope to get to cut it, but I won't. But I may need to play it. This pick is actually just rancid, like really bad. I'm not taking Eureka. Never like. Oh man. I mean, it might just be the pick because I have nothing better to pick. Like, Dig Through Time is a great card, but we are not a Dig Through Time deck. Like, we're not really putting cards in our yard, which means, like, we're not fueling the dig. Like, you really want to be, like, blue-black or ideally red-blue if you're playing Dig. Whatever, I'll just take the Eureka and never play it and, like, save somebody else from getting into a trap. Beast Within is fine. I'm not excited about it, but it's totally playable. Do I want Typhoon or do I want Thraggy Tea? I'm not really holding up Counter Magic ever, so Tusky Boy is probably okay. All right, well, that's a interesting last 4 cards. This is fine so far. Like, again, we've picked mostly playables. Yeah, Claim is currently a main deck card. Like, I'm not above it. We almost have a 2-pack deck. Like, it's not an incredibly good 2-pack deck, but it is a 2-pack deck. Which means that there's essentially, like, all we're doing in pack 3 is now just improving our deck, as opposed to, yeah, sure, fine, I'll take it on the wheel. All we're doing now is improving our deck. Wow, last big Mishras, eh? No love for the artifacts. Okay. I mean, damn. There's a Leo Fracture. Like, this pack is spicy. Can we wheel the Fyndhorn Elves? Like, I'm obviously going to take the Time Walk here, chat. Like, that's not actually that close. This isn't even the best Time Walk deck, but, like, Time Walk is still just a very dumb card. I'm just sort of wondering if I can wheel Fyndhorn Elves. So, like, what do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have a decent chance of wheeling the elves if no one else is really in green. And we've been wheeling a lot of green cards, so it's very possible we do. Either way, like as I said, taking the Time Walk, that's pretty easy, and then we just kind of cross our fingers and see if it wheels. I'm basically still just drafting like I'm guaranteed to get this opposition, which I'm definitely not, but yeah, Treespeaker here I think is the pick. There's an argument for Chalice because it's another fetchable off of Trink. but I also don't think that we need more. Like, if it wheels, great, I'd probably pick it, but... And there's also an argument for Muldrifter just because it's card advantage. But I do think the Dragon's Tree Speaker is good. We want Mana Dorks for sure. I think the picks there were probably... Oh, wow. Wow. Crap. Okay, this is actually a tough pick, chat. This is actually a really, really tough pick. There are a lot of very, very good cards for our deck in this pack, and I'm kind of uncertain as to which I actually want. So Nissa into Nissa with a Vorinclex out is actually out of control. Like you basically insta have 10 loyalty, and she plus ones. She plus twos effectively to make a 6/6 vigilance that taps for 2. Nissa Ballista is really nice as well. The problem is there's a freaking Glenelendra in this pack, and like Glenelendra is so good. Nissa with Time Walk too. God damn. Like the question is basically, can I wheel the Nissa? Can I wheel the Nissa? What do we think, chat? Because the Glen is never coming back in 1,000 years. It's just not going to. The Nissa might. I'm gonna take the Nissa. This is a Nature Vegetables kind of moment, and it makes me sad, but I think it's correct. Ooh. Somewhat rewarded, though, because Rafellos is really good in this deck. Quite a few decent cards for us here, actually. Ooze, Image, Riftwing are all great, but this is actually probably a solid Rafellos shell. Yeah, no, Nissa was the pick. It was just sadness. Actually, is Rafellos the pick? I'm gonna have to play, like, kind of a lot of islands in this deck, because the one thing our deck has 0 of is fixing. Like, actual, factual 0 fixing. So we might, like, so the Rafellos might underperform is my only concern here. I'm gonna take it anyway. Like, even if this damn thing taps for, like, 2 or 3 mana, like, that's still absurd. So it's probably still just a pick. Cultivate's actually just, like, incredibly good here. I need that more than I need Devoted Druid, I think, because I really, like, I need the fixing. And Druid is good ramp, but it's not fixing. Ooh, Turn Timber is actually really appealing as well. Turn Timber works pretty well here. There's an argument for Nissa, but I think Turn Timber is going to be better, especially because we're not actually trying to add new cards to my deck, really. Like, I have a complete deck. So this is essentially adding a land that I get to just also have be a spell some amount of the time, which is good. There's the Tinker. Actually, are we taking Tinker with only like 1 target and 3 source artifacts? Probably not, right? Probably not. It's not that good. I could take Bayou, but Bayou doesn't do anything for me. I have no need for black mana. So it's like Slime, Relic. Pack's kind of womp. Meh. I'll take the Slime. I think that's probably the one like with the highest use case for me. Mirai Conjecture is pretty spicy with Time Walk, but like not really very good with anything else in my deck. I mean, like it's like fine with like Beast Within Cultivate. The bottom line is it's not a Conjecture deck, sadly. Geez, we have the Leovolds. That might have been a reason to take a black land, TBH. Yeah, we didn't wheel the elves from this pack, which is a shame. I was kind of hoping somebody would want the Ulamog with the Leovold with the Baral or something more than they wanted the elves, but I guess there was, exactly one other green drafter in this pack. It does make me glad we took the Nissa, because that means it was probably less likely to wheel. I don't think we need Leo. I don't think this is a Leo deck. This could actually be an Ulamog deck, though. Okay, I will take Chalice. That's nice. Chalice, I should... Okay, great. Okay, sure. Well, I'm glad I listened to chat. Because that is not what I would have predicted would happen, but I'm not upset. I'm not upset about it. Alright, so what are we going to do here? Yeah, Yorion can get out at this point. I actually think the Omen Keel is decent in this deck. Ooh, we wield Thimage as well. That's pretty solid. I mean, mean, Stormcaller Time Walk is a hell of a combo, but like once again, it's not much of a combo with anything else. Well, we sure do have a deck. Yeah, apparently I do get Glenn for dessert, which is yeah, I'm happy about it. That's exciting. Now I will say Glenn is a bit of a non-bo with Vorinclex, so we gotta watch out for that particular interaction. But otherwise it's like pretty good. Alright, Cryptic's getting out. There's not a chance in hell I'm playing that card. But everything else we have is single blue, so I think that is fine. Wall of Blossoms can come out. I'll bring it in against aggro. Fauna Shaman can get out. I think Nature's Claim gets out. Again, I'll bring it in if I need to. This is a land. We're not going to play the Catacombs. There's just really no reason to play a random fetch land. I have nothing that really benefits from it. Like, I have no landfall triggers or anything like that. I mean, I guess it's good with exactly Cosima, kind of. Where I can, like, play the first side of it, pump her up, and then crack it to get her back. It's not great, though. Tusky can get out. We'll side that in against aggro. I don't think I want Ooze either. Like, I think we have better things to do with our top end. Ooze would have been great if I'd picked up the Oppo, but we didn't, so it's a lot less necessary. Similarly, I think Skews gets out. And then is that just the deck? These three are lands. This is 24. This is a 2-drop. But it thins your deck. Yeah, no, we're not doing that. I kind of don't like commit very much. I think that can be the last cut, and then we just play like a bunch of like fat things on the top end. Like playing Ulamog and Sundering Titan with a whatchamacallit, a Turn Timber in the deck is actually like very reasonable. Yeah, then just jam. I don't know, how do we jam forests wise? 4 islands, Moto? Are we sure about that? Are we sure about that? That feels a bit aggressive, for being honest. I kind of like that a little bit more, I think. I think 6 islands... Like, even 6 islands is is like a little sketchy, but I don't think I can afford to go lower than that. If we're going to lose, it's going to be to having god-awful mana. That is a thing. That is a thing. Any games we lose, I think, will be directly attributable to drawing very badly. Because our deck is definitely pretty ambitious in terms of its mana. Like, I should argue be playing a lot more of my green cards and fewer of my blue cards. Actually, yeah, hang on. Hold, cancel that order for a second. Oh, man. I'm gonna get Uro out of here. The double blue on the flashback is, like, extremely ambitious, I think. I'll bring it in against aggro once again, because I think that just, like, even just the gaining 3 life, drawing a card part is relevant. I think we get Cosima out of here. Like, that card's barely good enough. I'm not really sure why I'm trying to, like, force feed it to myself. So with this many cards, 3 lands, and we can get, like, a couple of, like, cheap green things in. Maybe I do want the Wall of Blossoms just to kind of, like, buy some time. None of the remaining green cards are stellar, obviously. Scoos can actually just be randomly good in the main deck. I'm not opposed to that. And then, like, maybe Fauna Shaman is fine? Maybe? Could be Nature's Claim as well, just to, like, have a little bit of extra main deck artifact hate. Yeah... That's probably okay. And then that makes having fewer blue sources, like, more acceptable. That's definitely not what I think should be happening. So I have 5 blue cards. I think I do want the 6 here. 19 lands is obviously too many. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, so I think we just cut a couple of forests. And I think that's the deck. It's probably okay. I could even shave another land and put in like another creature in like a Wall of Blossoms or something, but I don't think I need to do that. Unclear, uncertain. I think I need to have 17 lands just to mana screw myself less often. I think that's essentially the state of affairs on that one. Am I missing anything to the left? No. Stop. All right. Let's take a quick snip, as we do. And hop in the queue and hope to not die to terrible mana. All right. Let's go. Man. I don't think I can mulligan this. It's like, I'm gonna eat, like, a lot of shit if I don't draw a land, but like I'm on the draw and this hand is so close to playable if I draw even one land. I'm gonna keep this. I think the upside of keeping this hand is huge. Not exactly the land I was looking to draw if we're being honest, but I think it's gonna be okay anyway. I'm going to play the Noble Hierarch because that guarantees the Oko next turn, whereas Tree Speaker does not. And I would like to cast the Oko next turn. Now, if they have a counterspell, you know, sucks to be me, but I'm only going to play around what I can control, not what I can't. Like, Island passes. Okay, not what I had expected in the slightest. Okay. Well, please don't have days, I guess. They did not have days. Yeah, let's make a food. I really thought about elking their Signet, but because I have a Nature's Claim in hand, like, I'm allowing them one turn with like a potential splash or whatever. But like, you know, there's an argument like if they just have Tinker here, that's very bad for me. Although ironically, I could conceivably Tinker whatever, or Oko, whatever it is they Tinker for, depending on what it is. If it's like a, you know, Inkwell or whatever. Lotus Bloom with 3 counters. Is this Storm then? There are very, very, very few decks that play Storm, or that play Lotus Bloom other than Storm. So I'm a little concerned here. Little concerned, to be honest, but we will see. We will see. Turn 2 victory, nice. Yeah, I mean, Storm is one of the few decks where that might actually not be the case because I don't know how interactive I'm going to get to be with their cards. But like, you're honestly not that far from the truth. Like, turn 2 Oko is actually just like unreasonably stupid. Like more stupid than Oko generally is, which is, you know, a lot. Strix. Okay, I accept. So they actually did need the black man, ironically. But, again, I think we can live with that. Ooh, that's a Vorinclex next turn, chat. That is one Klexy boy next turn. So here, let's turn food into an elk. Let's attack them for 4. They will probably block. That's fine. Now I can Nature's Claim this. Tree Speaker. Level up Tree Speaker. And then pass. Because notably they missed their land drop and I've just strip mined them. So okay, so they found a mountain here, but still. Mountain is not a black source, of which is of note. Okay. I might just elk that, to be quite honest. Ever-flowing Chalice of the Vorinclex is kind of spicy. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Geez, I could just play Avenger of Zendikar here and then elk. It's kind of hot. And then play Vorinclex the following turn. Landfall, double, token. Oh, yeah. We're doing that. We're doing that, chat. We're doing that. Yeah. My opponent is unlikely to have counterspells. Storm rarely does. They're not necessarily Storm. Like, I am making... Wait, did I miscount? No, I did miscount. Oh, well, that's sad. How did I miscount? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh. Ooh, never mind. Alright, well, we don't get to go off quite as hard as I wanted to then. That's a shame. What am I going to do instead then? I guess, like, kind of just about the same thing, really. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Play Vorinclex. Play a Chalice. Kicked once, but actually twice. And then let's attack. I do need to get them dead. Probably sooner than later. And then let's just make this into an elk. They're doing a decent job of just strip mining my opponent here. Yeah. Attacked Mayoko for 3. It goes to 6. It goes to 6. Gru meme. Ooh, spicy. Oh, also concede? All right, never mind. Well, I thought we had a game, and then I guess I realized. Oh, right. Yeah, I mean, that's not even that good though. Is it? What? I don't know. I'm not entirely sure what just happened there, but whatever. Who cares? All right. Well, that was fun. Let's cast more turn 2 Oko, shall we, chat? Okay. So my opponent is conceivably on Storm based on the cards, although Wind Orb is not playing Storm, so I actually never mind. No, my opponent is not on Storm. They're on some sort of weirdo combo-looking deck, but I don't think it was a Storm deck because it might be a Tinker deck based on all the random artifacts they were playing. Like Tinker is actually probably far more likely now that I think about it, which makes me kind of want to play Commit specifically. I wouldn't bring in Cryptic because again, like I'm pretty sure that card is actually impossible to cast, but like Fimage did not look good against that opponent. They played like 1 Baleful Strings, which admittedly is a fine thing to Fimage, but like it didn't look very good. So I think I'm okay swapping 1 blue card for another. And having it be a blue card that's a bit more counter combo interaction type stuff. I didn't want any of my green cards in it for any particular reason that I could tell. Yeah, so that's just what we're gonna do. We're just gonna swap 1 blue card for another. That gives us a little bit more interaction. Well, we drew the sideboard card, so this is probably a keep, right? Okay. Well, bye, Ulamog. Beep Beep? What the hell? Okay, so this is definitely a Tinker deck. If they're playing Beep Beep in that deck, that's a Tinker. Like, for sure. 0% chance of it not being. How's it going, projects? We are, in game 2, up a game against some sort of Grixis artifacts deck. I'm sad that your cat jam did not actually turn into the emote. I'm wondering if it's not because I don't know. Did highlighting it make it not that, or did you like miss a capital somewhere? I don't have a choice on this one. Like I normally wouldn't, but this is my primary monitor, and this game specifically is not a game capture; it's a screen capture because MTGO is like, you know, dinosaur era software, and it doesn't actually work as a game capture because each individual window that it generates, so like every time I join a draft, every time anything happens, is a whole new game as far as MTGO is concerned. And so yeah, it just doesn't work. I could maybe turn on streamer mode. I thought I had, but maybe I didn't. There. I guess it's on now. Cool. Thanks. All right, let's go. Oh no, Yarn is not a new mod. Yarn used to be at Anchor Point. She renamed herself. Yeah. So not a new mod, just a new name. A fancy new name to match her fancy new Twitch channel. Actually, yeah, rebrand exactly. If you are into arts and crafts, well, I don't know. Is arts and crafts pejorative? It sounds very like, I don't know, diminutive. If you're into crafts, Yarn is, as you may have guessed, a very proficient knitter and crocheter and whatever else one does with yarn and needles, and frequently streams herself doing so on the weekends. Crayons and Play-Doh, Jesus Christ! I'm so sorry, Yarn. Yeah, no, so yeah, go check out her stream for sure. Usually stream weekend mornings, right? That's the general idea. Also, Yarn is another member of Team Jackal, a very cool group of variety streamers, of which we are both a part of. He says without any sort of agenda. Yeah, once is fine. Pass the turn. Thoughtseize. No, my Nissa. Rest in peace. My opponent's deck is actually all over the place. Like, it's kind of incredible. I'm a game and a half in and have yet to figure out what's happening over there. You are more than welcome, Hannah. More than welcome. I don't even know what I'm doing here. I guess I just like play out my hand? Question mark. Go like Trink. The thing is, I don't even know if I want to get no, I actually don't want to get I thought about getting Mox so I could just play out the Skoos, but I think I actually just want to get like Hangerback Walker here. So I can just play Hangerback for like a handful next turn, and like that sounds kind of decent. Yeah, weekend mornings US. Lots of knitting, the occasional Mario 64 as of this morning at least. Some Animal Crossing. So if any of those games are of interest to you, check her out. Yeah, that makes sense, Yarn. It obviously depends on what else you're using that space for, right? Like this is essentially my, you know, my command center or whatever, so it's effectively always stream ready. But a lot of people, I assume, are using that sort of space like a bit more sort of multi-functionally. Obviously, you're also using like physical medium, so you need more space and more surface area for it than I do. Yeah, that totally makes sense. All right, so they went looting, discarding Entombment Mountain. I remain utterly in the dark as to my opponent's intentions. Utterly in the dark. 3, 4, 5. Yeah, whatever. Let's just play a Walker on 2. Why not? I have no idea what's happening here, chat. My opponent's on 3 cards in hand. They discarded, as I said, Entomb and a Mountain. Like, discarding Entomb is, like, pretty interesting to me. That tells me that they don't have a reanimation spell, but also why are you entombing if that's... I don't know what's happening, chat. Also, we've drawn an egregious amount. Like, we're just going to draw Raphaelis next turn, watch. We're going to draw Raphaelis next turn, and it's going to be funny. Okay. Churn through that deck, OP. Go, go, go. Alright, well, I've never wanted to draw an uncastable card more in my life. Oh, also, Project, I regret to inform you the beard shaving stream has been vetoed. Val's hard pass on shaving the beard. You can't be serious. There's no way. There's no way. I'm not gonna put her on the spot and ask right now, but I will run the new number past her. I will run the new number past her. You absolute loon. I guess I should have held on to the hanger back one extra turn. Alright. I could just like wind up the hanger back. Yeah, I guess I probably will do that this turn. I think winding it up is better than getting in for 2. Man, can I draw Sundering Titan? That would be excellent, and I would enjoy it. Sundering Titan. Let's go. Blow up 3 of your lands, 1 of mine. Oh, okay. 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 Well, I did say they were a Tinker deck, so at least my instincts are a little bit on point there. Just get Sundering Titan. Okay, it is Inkwell Leviathan. Alright. What am I going to do about that? What is my plan for an Inkwell Leviathan? Sounds good, Project. See you in a minute. No! Where were you last turn? Literally last turn would have been good enough. God damn. Alright, well. Whatever, play out my land, I guess. Yeah, whatever. Whatever. Alright, so my opponent has Island Walk, so obviously what's happening here? Oh, we have a counterspell? A Petty Theft. This is not a Dice trigger, right? Or, yeah, it's not a Leaves trigger, it's a Dice trigger, so there's no point in pumping it in response. Sure? Yeah, I mean, I accept. Yeah, no need to recast that this turn. I can just like recast it for a ton the following turn. So I'm going to go 7 down to 11. That actually is like an oddly fitting set of numbers. Take 7, go to 11. Yeah, I like it. From the 7-11. Good old big gulp. I mean, we're obviously just losing this race horrifically right now. Okay, so let's just eat like the battle ball. The funny thing is they took this Nissa and I ended up just like actually never able to cast it, which is an interesting place to be. Beast Within, does that do anything? Sadly, I have too many islands to have Beast Within my own island be a valid play here. Alright, so I need to do some quick maths here. There's one more creature in their yard right now, which is Metalworker. No, there's actually... Oh, there's 2 creatures in their yard. That's very interesting. So... What are we going to do here? I guess I don't do it now. What does this do for me? I don't think I want to use the Ancient Tomb, because using it might be the difference between buying myself a turn and not. So what I want to do is I want to go 1, 2... God, yeah, I might just recast... I like... Man, bouncing the Hangerback Walker actually wound up being much better than I thought it would be. I have too many things that I want to do. I feel like casting the Walker is just like not that good. Do I just take a complete turn off? Cast Hangerback Walker for a bunch? Okay, how much mana do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I could take a complete turn off, or I could cast it for... Yeah, let's do this. Let's cast it for 6, or like for 3, essentially. And casting it for 3 is not even good, though. No, I actually don't think I'm going to cast the Hangerback for very much. I'm going to just cast it for like 1, if anything. Yeah, let's just literally cast Hangerback for 1 here. I think that's fine. And I attack with everything. Except for the Glenalendra. Which is a bit of a shame in and of itself, but like whatever, you do what you gotta do. So they're gonna end step flash in the Brazen. Mm-hmm. Attack with both, I'm guessing. Yeah, that's fine. Can't block that, of course, so we're not going to do anything about it. Sure. What the hell is this? Gilded Lotus? Yeah, I don't care about that. So I think I actually want to, like, Beast within my own Ancient Tomb here. Just to have, like, extra attackers. Ooh, drawing another greens was actually really nice for me here, too. So if I just yeet everything at my opponent, okay, so if they're at 13, they can only block the Glenalendra, which means they're taking 6, 9, and then I can gain... yeah, so we're gonna end up 1 short is the problem. Maybe I had to... man, I don't know if I had any outs here, but I think we are dead by my math unless I'm missing something pretty critical here. Yeah, I think we're just dead, unfortunately. That sucks. Good news is I think that we're quite favored to win this match. But Inkwell Leviathan is a problem for this deck, as it turns out. Like, that card is actually difficult for me to beat. What do I do about that? Fimage actually looks way more interesting now. And, like, Commit kind of, like, looks less interesting again. Like, Commit is actually, like, really only good if you're, like, catching them on the Tinker turn, really. Because, yeah, now that I know that their Tinker target is untargetable, the Commit is a lot worse since it can't affect cards already on the board. Or at least not that one. So Fimage actually becomes interesting again, because Fimage is an amazing thing, Inkwell is an amazing thing to copy with Fimage, since the Shroud essentially completely neutralizes the Illusion Clause. Yeah. Yeah, I think this is fine. Is there anything I don't want? I don't think so. I think we just run it back and, yeah, kind of hope to run a little bit harder than we did there. We did get a little bit, like, weirdly mana screwed, which, admittedly, I predicted would be the bane of this deck if there was going to be one, but, you know, obviously I'd prefer if that didn't happen. This is a totally reasonable keep. Not exciting, but not bad. My opponent's been like Faithless Looting and like Entombs and stuff, then I do like the look of a Scavenging Ooze here. I'm gonna run the Scooze out here. like, yes, it's susceptible to removal, but like they have Thoughtseize, so it's like no, it's not even clear that like I mean, obviously if they had Thoughtseize in their opener, they would have just played it. But it's not even clear that holding the Skoos is better, and you know, my opponent's trying to win by doing big over the top things. So if I can just like go higher over the top, as it were, then that's not bad for me. Peace Within is intriguing. I'm actually just gonna Fimage the Strix here. Just draw another card. Ooh, that's a good one. All right, no Thoughtseize one time, please, OP. Yeah, not gonna offer the Skoos up there. I'll just be giving them a clean 2-for-1 with no value whatsoever achieved. LED? That's a yikes. The hell is this? Shit, Tinker again? Alright. Yeah, here comes Daddy. I guess I should have held on to my Fimage for one extra turn. Kinda hate that, but what can you do? I will hold the phone. Hold the phone just a tick. Okay, so casting the Nissa here is first and foremost a bad plan. Oh, yeah. Okay. I like this. All right. Check this out, chat. I think we can get them here, and bonus points if you, bonus points if you can see how we're gonna hook them. Alex, you're close. You're close. We'll take 6 damage, but we're putting their Thinger in the yard, so this is kind of hot. My opponent's like, wait, what? Yeah, boy. Block. Nom 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 nom. Delicious. Delicious. Oh, that was a punt. I should have eaten that. I should have eaten that. For some reason, I thought I over clicked OK there. I meant to. Okay, what am I gonna do here? Let's go. Yeah, they didn't have a counterspell last turn, so they're unlikely to have one here. Let's go Slime on their red-black land. I'm giving them outs to reanimate one turn, but I'm really, really hoping... I'll make this trade if they want me to, or if they want to. They did not. I'm giving them outs to reanimate one turn, but I think taking them off 2 different colors is much, much more valuable. All right, there we go. My opponent ran out of time and we disconnected. Beautiful. Yeah, so you know that my opponent's now going to go file for comp, be like, oh, I disconnected. Please refund me my draft. All right, well, not exactly the win we were looking for, but a win's a win. I'm probably gonna have to do a little bit of editing on this video because, you know, whatever. All right, well, let's get back in the queue and hopefully have less of a Salt Mine as our next opponent. Yeah, I think that's a keep. Looks decent. Turn 1, hanger back on 1. Building up to an Elendra on turn 3. Gonna do my best to hold onto the Turn Timber Symbiosis to cast it, but we'll play it as a land if we need to, of course. Let's keep. The opponent's deck was? I'm gonna respectfully disagree, and that's not just because they were being a buttface, but like I think their deck was a complete hot mess. Like it was trying to do 7 different planes at the same time. Like it had a couple of powerful things that it could do. Like it's still a Vintage Cube deck, but like the deck was not good. It was just fine. Oh, sure. Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah, a gas matchup or whatever. All right, well, this is actually turning into quite a nice little draw here. Cultivate was like kind of the perfect thing. If they don't blow up my Mox here, and their colors tell me that they probably won't, then we're going to get to go turn 3 Cultivate and turn 4 Glenelendra with activation available. And then we will be able to very shortly play a Turn Timber Symbiosis for 7. And those are all pretty good things. Oh, we should say them also when we're referring to my opponents, if you don't mind, because we don't know. Like, realistically speaking, people that shitty tend to be men because entitlement, etc., etc. But benefit of the doubt, if we don't know for sure, is always to use they. All right, playing against what appears to be a Reanimator deck, or at least they have an Unis Prowler, which like isn't usually a factor in anything else. Man, how unlucky. I've already drawn 2 of my 3 Trinket Mage targets. How unlucky. Gonna grab a 2nd island and a 3rd forest here. And then we're just gonna pass the turn. You know what? I'm gonna attack for 1 because I'm not charging it up, and I ain't blocking, so may as well attack. Boo, opponent, boo. This actually isn't that bad. They're probably gonna take the Glenelendra Archmage. And then I can Trinket Mage, find Ballista, and potentially shoot down the Tidehollow Scholar, getting back my Archmage. So that's not the worst. We'll take 3 here. Play the land they know about. 1, 2, 3. Cast Trink. Go get... Wait, I have 3 targets? Oh yeah, I have Chalice too. Do I want Chalice? Chalice on 2. Yeah, Chalice is actually pretty good here. Chalice is actually not bad at all. Let's play Chalice on 2. Or Chalice on 1, rather. And I can just chill here. They can't attack me with the 2/2 now. And then next turn now, because of the Chalice, I actually get to play the Turn Timber. Really? Oh, they're making me get rid of the Turn Timber Symbiosis? Yeah, you hate to see it. You hate to see it. But so be it. No, my hand is not very bad, but we have lots of good draws in the deck, so you never know. You never know. Let's see what happens. No way they attack with both here, right? It's just going to be with the thinger. Do I want to take 3 or just discard a land? What are my draws? Okay, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The only 8 drops I have are Sundering Titan and Ulamog. So yeah, I can afford to just ditch a land here. What are you doing, opponent? Why do you still have priority? There we go. Yeah, so let's just ditch an island here, save ourselves a point, or a couple points even. We don't need it. They know we have it. May as well. Alright, charge this up end step. Ooh. Not a bad draw. Not a bad draw. Definitely very good against any potential shenaniganery that might be going on with this Una's Prowler, that's for sure. And we're gonna pass again. Judgment. Buh. I guess I'm gonna actually do this first. I'm just gonna eat this while I can. Because I don't know what they're gonna target, and by the time that they've named something I have to choose, I'm not going to pump up the Hangerback Walker in case they are choosing the Skoos. So they did choose the Walker. That's interesting. Yeah, so Rip Walker. Sadly, no value to be gained there. But, like, I don't even know if that's good, to be honest. It's kind of just whatever. I mean, they're playing a very, like, disruptive deck. Just, like, tons of removal and interaction. But, like... Yeah, I was going to say, we're, like, kind of just, like, a couple of good draws away from wrecking them. So... Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on here. Alright, so, like, real talk. Am I blowing up their land, or am I blowing up their Sculler? I'm guessing the answer is probably just Sculler. TBH. As tempting as it is to blow up their land, since they've clearly been missing land drops pretty aggressively, I think getting back a card is better. Plus it puts another random thing in the yard for me to eat and gain life, etc., etc. So I think that's going to work out pretty well for me. Kythian, sure. Yeah, I'm like not really understanding this Una's Prowler thing happening. Okay, so they're going to try to turn Kythian into Gideon, which is fine. No creatures in the yard. Natty-O, you say? Natty-O, you say? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I can't play both this turn. I'm gonna save the natural order for a turn. Because what I can do is I can actually natural order into Vorinclex and just like surprise charge down the Gideon, if that's what they're intending on doing here. Which I have every reason to believe is exactly what they're intent on doing. So that seems fine to me. They have 1 card in hand, 2 now. They have exactly enough to make Gideon or Kythian indestructible. But that would be their entire turn if they wanted to do that, which is like probably also fine with me. I do commiserate with my opponent who has been flooding heinously, to be fair. Or rather, very badly mana screwed. But they've also used almost all their cards. So it's not like they're already like holding 7 uncastables or anything. They've just like, they're on 3 lands, but they've also just cast a ton of random cheap creatures. So this is basically just like a black-white aggressive deck, and I guess the Prowler is just literally there because it is a black-white aggressive creature. Like it is a 2-mana 3/1 flyer for 2. Well, I said that already, but yeah, like it's an efficient beater, especially if your opponents aren't willing to discard to it. Given what's going on here, I am probably fine trading the Glenelendra Archmage for the Una's Prowler, like, well, half of my Archmage anyway. Like, I don't even know if they think... like, they may not even want to attack here, which is kind of, like, good for us, obviously. Yeah, this is a very, very interesting set of circumstances we find ourselves in. Very interesting set of circumstances. Well, we got another opponent taking 1,000 years, so back to you, chat. How's it going? What are we up to? How's your Sunday so far? In my defense, green was very open this draft. This was not a force by any stretch of the imagination. This was pack one, pick one, Oko, and like we got a Mox Emerald in the second pack, and like I don't know, like the green was just kind of open. I'm really not green as often as everyone seems to meme on me for being. I'm probably like blue more than I am green. But the blue is not open, once again, very unsurprisingly, because blue is never open. Okay. This is so weird. So this is like actually a fine attack by my opponent. Like, mostly fine, I guess I'll say. So block here. And I don't really want to block here, so I guess I'm going to take 3. I could make them essentially take 4 by like forcing the trade with the acidic slime, but the thing is I actually kind of want the slime as natural order fodder. Because they're not really like, yeah, like it's not really like, it's going to trade with anything anyway, but I'd rather, yeah. Yeah, so this is just giving it indestructible. Like if their entire turn was just doing that to make me take 3 damage, then like I think we're in pretty good shape. Man, we have on the flip side been flooding like heinously. Okay, so let's do this. And then let's just go 1, 2, 3, 4 natural order, targeting that. Go get Avenger. Then make a land drop. McGreen. Hey, we won. Nice. So far so good. Yeah, I mean, again, like the deck is solid. It's honestly a little wonky mana-wise, but like we've got some very powerful cards. Like I got 2 pieces of power, like 2.5 really, because I have an Oko. And like a bunch of like kind of silly things, good little curve. Our biggest issue is our mana, which is essentially just a bunch of basics and we hope we get there, but oh yeah, you're not wrong. These kind of decks are very hit or miss. Like absolutely hit or miss. Wait. Oh, I wanted the board differently, and I got distracted by chat, but that's my fault. Yeah, I mean, hit or miss right here for your viewing pleasure is certainly accurate. What was my top end? What do you mean? Wait, are you? Did I play you last round? Were you my last round opponent? Let's see. Am I keeping this? Yeah, no, we're going to mulligan this. We could do better. Yeah, this is fine. We'll keep this. It's like not excellent or anything, but what do we put back? Probably maybe just the natural order, honestly. Especially because we're already holding our natural order target in hand. Yeah, let's keep this. Get rid of the natural order. What do you mean by what was my top end then? Like, I mean, I guess what is my top end? Like, my top end is like Avenger of Zendikar, Ulamog, Sundering Titan, I guess are my like top end cards. Hanger Backwalker and Ballista are sort of like every end kind of thing. I do not own any power and paper. No, I am not a... I would probably be a paper boomer by most people's standards, but not that much of a boomer. Yeah, no, it was cut off. Like, yeah, so like I said, it's Ulamog, Sundering Titan, and Avenger Zendikar, basically. Like, not the best top end in the world, but like, again, the deck is functional. It's been doing good for me so far. Yeah. So what am I gonna do here? I think I'm fine just playing out a Hanger back for one on turn one. Seems like a reasonable thing to do. Probably more than $2, I would guess. PSA 10 revised Underground. Undergrounds are getting expensive even when they're revised. Probably well in excess of 1,000. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know, 1,500? Maybe I'm lowballing that. Honestly, I haven't kept it. I definitely don't keep up to date with like the super high-end cards because, like, I don't know. I may as well keep up to date with, like, you know, like Bitcoin or whatever. Like, not ever going to affect my life in any meaningful fashion. So, not worth dwelling on. Yikes. Well, kind of punished on that one, but you know, so be it. Bit of an awkward draw, but also not even the worst draw, honestly, because I'll play the Rafellos next turn, and the following turn after that I can just play Avenger. Yeah, GME, there you go. Not following that either. Alright, Prowler's back. See how that goes. No, Legion's landing. Okay. They've got a bit of a, like a weird sort of pseudo-battalion theme going on. Geez, yeah, they really do. Attack with 3 to flip this, attack with 3 to flip this. Not bad, not bad. We might lose this game. We're probably going to lose this game. Our hand is not great, and theirs is very great. At least against what we're doing. So we'll see. We'll see. Land here. I actually don't know what's better to cast here. Rafellos, I think, is better. Rafellos is better in the long run for me, I think. Is that even true? Okay, what can I play Avenger next turn if I go Cultivate? Because I can do it. I can if I play Rafellos. So that might just be better to play the Rafellos for that reason. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and play untap 6. No, so Rafellos is actually better here. We might still just die, as I said, but statistically speaking, I think I have more outs by playing the Rafellos than I do by playing the Cultivate there. 2,500? Wow, that's really impressive. Yeah, no, the collectibles market is... Yeah, I mean, if you were able to get in early on the collectibles market, my understanding is that you are doing very well for yourself. I mean, and more power to you if you are. I do wish that people wouldn't trade my silly children's cards game as stocks, but if people are willing to pay that money, I can't entirely blame people for, you know, trying to get paid, basically, right? Like, gotta make a living. Alright. Taking 2 to do that. That's interesting. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 with a land, cast Avenger, or I could slime this turn and Avenger the following turn. I don't hate that. The Planeswalkers are going to be the big problem for me, obviously, here. I don't know that I have a great solution to that anyway, beyond just like trying to go as wide as I can. So what's my plan this turn? I think I do just play the Avenger, like the Naked Avenger this turn, basically. Like I just play it out, get my value, and then the following turn I can actually grow my plans to like a very large size via land drop plus cultivate. And that might be able to pressure the Planeswalkers reasonably well if I'm lucky. Yeah, may as well do that with the spare mana. Alright, so we're going to take a hit this turn, basically. Yeah, no, I mean, if you've got the like the income to do that, the sort of the the disposable income to do that, it's definitely like just as valid as investing in certain stocks, as far as I understand. It's riskier, but like, yeah, I'm also not going to try to offer any financial advice because I am not at all well versed in any of that. So gonna stick to my lane, as it were. Um. Yeah, but I mean, hey, good on you if you're able to make some money off of that, because there is money to be made, as you said. Get out of here, project. All right, nice. My lane is education and goofy video games, I guess. Those are things that I know things about. All right, how badly am I dying is the question here. This is a 5/5, so I'm going to have to just take that hit on the chin. This is indestructible. I can't block that one. So go to blocks. So let's just block the dum-dum here. Man, okay, so I'm going to take 8 here. Or I can take 5, or I can take 6 and discard 1 card to Una's Prowler. Because I'm going to get 2 lands from Cultivate next turn anyway. There's merits to both of those lines. I think soaking the 5 here is important. Just to kind of try to stay alive and buy ourselves the time to scrape out of this. Because now we only take 1 damage, and that's obviously substantially better than taking 8. Do I think the education program is outdated? In which country, which province, state even? Because like that question... God damn it, that's annoying. But so be it. That question varies wildly depending on where you're referring to. Or the answer to the question, rather, varies wildly, is what I meant to say. I'm not entirely sure if you're asking that question in good faith, to be honest, but I'm going to assume you are and try to answer accordingly. Again, asking North America, like, there isn't one education program in North America. There's like 65 of them. Every state, every province, sometimes even every, like, certain cities have individualized education programs, and that's just assuming, oh my god, what am I talking about? Public schools, right? Then there's like infinite private schools, and they all have their own educational programs based on different things. So, like, that would sort of be like, it's just not a question that's answerable as a yes or no question, quite simply. Yeah. So I will need you to be more specific than that if you want me to answer the question with any amount of oh my god, what's the word I'm looking for? Words are hard. Whatever. If I want me to be able to answer the question properly, I need more information than North America, or any more specificity than North America. All right. Okay, so what's my plan here? I kind of just want to get Forest, and then tap to cast Acidic Slime. No, I can get Forest Island in here and accomplish the same thing. So Island is going to go into play tapped. We're going to trigger Avenger of Zendikar a couple of once. Then I'm going to play Forest. And I'm going to play Acidic Slime. Slime is going to take out the Creature Factory. And then they've got 2 Gideons, and I kind of need to choose which one I want to have be gone here. Both are like sort of bad for me, if we're being honest. They can't block everything, but I also can't kill everything. So this says attacks Gideon Battleforged if able. Sure. So I guess that's the one we're going to go after because that's the only way that I'm going to be able to guarantee taking it out. Okay, let's go to combat. Let's go to combat. I think we can do this. I think we can do this. So this has to attack Gideon Battleforged, which means I will also have these attack Gideon Battleforged. And then I'm going to have this one. Yeah, actually, it's just everything's going to attack Gideon Battleforged, I think. No, this one's going to attack Gideon Ally of Zendikar. Because I'm gonna force... Because if I just attack everything at one, they're just going to give it up, and then they get a bunch of attacks back at me, and I die. Doing it this way allows... or forces them to hedge their bets a little bit and, like, protect more. Alright, so... I'm obviously not going to get anything back out of the Hangerback Walker being dead, but if I were to draw Acidic or a Scavenging Ooze, I'd rather have a creature, like 2 creatures in my yard than one, or than none even. So we're going to trade with the Leonin here. So yeah, I'll get this back for a hot second, and then it'll just auto-die. I get no thingies because it had no counters. And we're going to pass. Contrary to popular belief, Alex, that is not the case. Oh, I just understood why you wrote test in the Discord too. You wanted to see if it was going to prompt a notif. But yeah, no, I am in streamer mode now, so we are clear of that hindrance. Okay, so factory active. This thing gains indestructible, right? Yeah, so I can't... There's no point in blocking it. Wait, are we dead? Probably. I didn't really do any math here. I kind of thought that I'd cleared one of the Gideon's to be honest, but clearly not. I guess I'm just dead here, right? This is like... This is a 4/4, this is a 5/5. Go to blocks, block this. So I take 4, 6, 8. No, I can live if I discard Jiraga Tree Speaker. Okay. Which I will happily do. So I go to 1 here, if I did my math right, which is not guaranteed. I've been certainly known to not do my math right in the past. We have another creature here. Yikes. That's not what I wanted. Wait. No, I'm actually really close. Hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, wow. So getting an island actually was a terrible idea, as it turns out. But I don't know. I felt in my defense, I was significantly more likely to draw a blue card than I was to draw the only Ulamog in my deck. So there is that. There is that. But yeah, that does leave us regrettably dead on board. Because I can attack for 4, 9, 11, but they are at 21, and then I die. So let's go to game 3. Let's go to game 3. Alright, so I do want to bring in a little bit of my anti-aggro stuff here. I 100% meant to do so last time and kind of just goofed and forgot. No. No gambling. Illegal. Okay, so Wall of Blossom is just a block. Thragtusk because it gains me a ton of life. Both of those seem pretty good. What else do we want? Gonna get... Nature's Claim looked like was like very mediocre. They have a Tidal Sculler and a Spirit of the Lab, but the Spirit of the Lab I don't care about. It's mostly just that it winds up being a 1-mana removal spell for their 3-mana 2/1 or 2-mana 3/1. But like ultimately not that big of a deal. I want to cut down on my top end potentially. I definitely don't like the look of Hangerback Walker when they have a couple of like a lot of ways to exile and otherwise remove it. So I think I could see cutting Hangerback Walker here. Sundering Titan is medium but okay. I'm not like super inclined to cut it. Like I do need ways to like close the game, and those are pretty reasonable ways. Vorinclex is actually ridiculous against my opponent. Like, their planeswalkers just, like, don't work. No, like, barely work. Nissa makes 3/3s, which is not nothing. Against, again, a bunch of random planeswalkers. It's possible a natural order is a little loose, but I'm not sure about that either. I'm also wondering about Biogenic, who's just making a bunch of bodies and going wide, but that might not be good enough. I need one more cut, and I'm not 100% sure what it's supposed to be. I think maybe Fimage. Fimage might be the cut just because they have a lot of targeted removal, which means that unless I can guarantee getting an ETB trigger off of it, it's not really like a reliable blocker or attacker. So I think I could see cutting the Fimage here. There's Uro, but I do think Uro is going to be very difficult to cast, or at least to recast. So I don't think that's worth including. Yeah, I think we run it like this. I think this is okay. Would you like to play first? Yes, I would. No, I don't think I can keep this. It's very close. It's admittedly very close. Like, it's almost a keep, but I don't think it is. God damn it. I'm going to get rid of an island, because I don't need more islands. I need green sources, but I would like to be able to cast these things if I do draw green sources. So yeah, I'm just going to get rid of one random island. We might just be using Time Walk as Glorified Explorer this match, or this game, but that's okay. Alright, get out of here. Island. Done. Land. Pass. The literal best draw in my deck right now would be Green Source. Probably Mox, I guess, because it would let me play Time Walk and Elvish Mystic. But any untapped Green Source is the best draw in my deck right now. Landing. Fair enough. Do I Time Walk here? Serious question. I honestly might. It's not very good to do it, especially if I brick on land, but I don't know. Do I wait an extra turn? Because the Ballista right now would just be like 2 mana to destroy a target vampire, which is like also pretty bad. I'm gonna Time Walk here. It may be incorrect to do so, but I think we kind of need to hit our land drops here. Christ. Okay, well, hate to see it go down like this, but here we are. Yeah. Blocking it is worse than shooting it because they actually gain the life from me blocking, so I may as well just shoot it and deny them the life gain. Yep, that's fine. Like, we need to hit a land. Come on, dude. There are 6 islands in this entire deck, and I've drawn 3 of them in the top 9 cards. Kind of unrealistic, but that's variance for you, chat. That's variance for you. Here comes Gideon. This is like 1 hundo Gideon, I think. Nope, I'm wrong. Bitter Blossom. Still pretty bad for me. I have no ability to pressure that card right now. Sure, you got it, buddy. Oh my god. This is a joke. This is a sick joke. I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna give it one more turn. If we don't draw a green source next turn, then I think we're just gonna pack it in because like we're falling just hilariously far behind at this point. It sucks because I honestly think that we're not normally supposed to lose to this deck, but if we draw like this, we're going to. 3 lands. Hilarious. Amazing. Just, yeah. Alright, GG's opponent. Well, that's ugly, but what are you gonna do? But in the meantime, that's later. This is now. Let's play our last match. See if we can't pull out the 2-1 after a unfortunate series of mulligans there. And I did win the die roll, which I love to see. And this is a very serviceable hand. So we are gonna keep, and we are gonna see what happens. Again with the mispairings, I do hate this, but I'm not going to rant about this every single time I stream, so that's all I'm going to say about it today. No need to soapbox each and every time. Alright. Turn 1 dork on the play is always a good feeling. The better feeling is when your opponent does not go untap Bolt Pass. Or land Bolt Pass, I guess. Technically not untapping anything. I have difficulty imagining myself beast withining anything within the first couple of turns, so we're just going to get an attack in. Ooh, do we have a yield to all exalted abilities button? That's a great button. Sure. I accept. Yeah, that doesn't actually... I mean, depends on what I draw, obviously, but on the current board, that doesn't actually set me back at all in any meaningful way, so... Like, it means I'm not attacking them for one this turn is pretty much all that got there, but they also got the draw card off of it, so, you know. Not the worst thing for them to be doing, certainly. Ooh, this Acidic Slime, if it works, though, is going to be very nice. We're certainly going to go for it. We are... Ooh, that's also incredibly tempting, isn't it? But we're going to... I think the upside of this Acidic Slime resolving is way too high for me to not just throw this out there and see if it sticks. Wow, it actually worked. What do I hit? Do I hit the blue source? It's too tempting to not hit the dual land, right? Like... I'm cutting them out of 2 colors at the same time by doing that. Like, even if one or both of those are splash colors, I think that that's just the play. All right. So let's play another green land. Let's go to combat. Attack them for 3 here. And then we're just going to follow up by playing Rafellos and holding up Beast Within, I suppose. No need to run the Vorinclex out since it's got haste. I kind of want to try to do that on a turn where they're either not representing counter magic or have them use their counter magic on something else, preferably. Well, we can definitely cast anything in our deck if I get to untap with Rafellos. The question is, what will we draw? That's probably going to find them a green land of some sort. Certainly has the ability to do so, depending on what they're drawing to. I'm wondering if the Stomping Ground... There's an argument... Like, it's possible that they're not green at all, and that they're actually just playing the Stomping Ground because it's a fetchable red-blue land off of Misty Rainforest, right? Those sort of, like, off-color duels that make your fetch lands get more colors than they normally would. That'd be kind of cool. I've definitely done that in my mana bases before. Alright, just passing and doing nothing, huh? Ooh. Right. Let's attack first. Because again, I kind of want to see if they respond to an attack before I do anything else. They did not. So then let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Cast Avenger. I can pay for Mana Leak and Miscalc. Oh wow, these things are just happening. Okay, I don't know if I'm like alarmed or excited. Because like on one hand, we're gonna win next turn. On the other hand, if they have a Wrath, we're not gonna win next turn, and that would suck. So I don't know. Mixed feelings, as it were. Mixed feelings. Like, this is all too easy. They still have 7 cards in hand and they haven't done anything yet. Like, is this a Storm deck? Is this basically Storm and they're going to have to go off now? That's kind of the vibe that I'm getting here. Like, Repeal is totally fine in a Storm deck, and they've done literally nothing else, and they're playing Grixis colors. I'm getting Storm vibes, but I could be wrong about this. I was wrong last time I said it was a Storm deck, so I don't know. But my opponent's got 7 cards in hand, has done nothing except play 1 plausibly Storm card. So, yeah. And they do literally have to... Oh, yeah, that's a Mana Flare. Okay. Okay. Do I Beast Within in response to Mana Flare? No, I guess I don't. Well, they get 1 less mana. They get 1 less mana, right? No, I don't think I Beast Within yet. I think I try to bait them into doing something else, like casting like an Untapper or something. Yeah, Turnabout. So this is where I Beast Within the Mana Flare, I think. Oh, what the... Right, this all taps are like infinite. Lol. Yeah. Right. I don't know if that's going to matter at all, but we might draw some cards, and I'd rather have blue and green available if I do. So let's blow up the Mana Flare now. Okay. So they get to untap their lands. But now they only have 5 mana to work with, which is a lot less than 10. Fingers crossed, chat. Yeah, so also, if anyone was wondering, this is in fact Storm. So this is literally just Jesus take the wheel at this point. And we'll see what my opponent can come up with. We are presumably going to win the game if my opponent... Okay, so this is a baby ritual. This doesn't actually make 7 mana. This only makes 3, so that's fine. I mean, it's still net 1 mana, which might be good enough. Who knows? But they're working under far more constrained circumstances. Okay, well, now they have a lot of mana, so that's worse for me. Storm count is 5, but I'm at 20. I have 28 cards in hand. I mean, there's a lot of ways we can die from here, but the biggest thing is going to be basically, does my opponent have a way to draw more cards in their hand? Which they probably do. Like, they were forced to go off this turn no matter what, because I was going to kill them next turn if they didn't. Because Storm decks usually don't run interaction, which means I was going to attack them and it was going to be lethal, basically. But they might be able to get here. But there's always the hope that their hand wasn't good enough to go off and that I merely put them in a position where they had no choice but to try. That's always the tension with Storm decks, right? Is they're going to basically hold all their spells until the last possible moment and then do their best to go off with it. Sometimes they just have the nuts like ahead of schedule and they just go off without even being under pressure because they need to, but that's not the common scenario, I guess. So now they're going to Cabal Ritual, and now that will be Ritual for 5, so that's good. That's good. They don't have red mana, though, right? Yeah, they don't have red mana, so how are they... They're not recasting Ritual. Oh, no, they're recasting Turnabout, so now they do have red mana. Yikes, dude. Yeah, if their last couple of cards are Stormwind cons and not draw spells, then we are probably in trouble. Because we are only 2 spells away, and 2 very easily castable spells away from... Like, if they just go Seething Song Tendrils, that's good enough. That's it, right? Repeal one of my plants, I think they did, right? Okay, they're still just kind of going off, but they haven't shown me a way to win yet. Oh, the tendrils. Okay, they've got it. All right, sucks to be me, I guess. Yep, nothing to be done there. Like, literally could not have done anything differently than I did. My hand was exactly as fast as it was, and that was that. And they had a good hand for a storm turn. That's all she wrote. Alright, so I'm going to bring in some counter magic against that then. Probably bring in that. I don't think that bringing in Cryptic is reasonable, unfortunately. I am actually going to bring in Eureka against this opponent. They're not likely to have anything, so I can actually potentially just get a busted Eureka turn. And it's going to be an essentially asymmetrical turn. Because I'll get to put a bunch of dumb things on the board, and they'll play, like, you know, a couple of lands, like maybe a flare or something, which would be bad. But yeah, I think Eureka is actually very reasonable against this kind of opponent. I like Thragtusk. I like Ooze. What do I not like? There's not that much I dislike, right? Yeah, I mean, if they have Citadel Bargain, like, so be it, but they didn't show me any indication that they had those cards already, and, like, I kind of have to, like, play to my outs, I think. I do not like Walking Ballista or Hanger back against this kind of opponent. Like, those cards are far, far, far too fair and too slow. Natural Order feels a bit clunky. I mean, I could just get, like, a hasty Vorinclex, but I don't know, that doesn't seem great to me. So I could see cutting Natural Order. Plus, they might have, like, some random counter magic or something. And then I just need to make one more cut here. Fimmage, probably not great, since they're not giving me anything to Fimmage. I have to, like, it becomes like a win more card because it's only my own cards that it winds up comboing with. So that's probably fine. Yeah, let's play like that. Not guaranteed we win here or anything. Like, Storm is a difficult matchup, and, like, Storm, I think, is at its, like, Storm in Vintage Cube right now, I think, is about as good as it's ever been. Generally speaking, it's gotten way more redundant pieces and more combo pieces generally. The addition of things like Lotus Petal, Birgi, like a lot of cards that just generate free mana, which is often the bottleneck on Storm, is like you always kind of wish you had that extra bit of mana. Scooz is really good against Past in Flames. I will say that. Is that a good enough reason to keep the whole hand? It might be. It actually might be. It's like it's a legit hate piece against a deck that doesn't do well against hate. Yeah, I'm going to keep this. It's not excellent. It's really not. But I think it is good enough. Interesting. Interesting. We'll see what we ramp into. If I can hit like one more big creature, I'll be a bit more interested. Alright, that's not bad. I'm not just going to cast it next turn just like YOLO. That's definitely not a thing that's going to happen. Because I'm close enough to just hard casting the Vorinclex at this rate that it's not worth spewing a Eureka and risking dying to a Citadel or whatever when I can't really do much about winning. Emerald's interesting. Wait, can I? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? Nice. I actually can Vorinclex here, which is pretty dope. Alright, sorry, Eureka. I got better things to do. Big ol' 6/6 haste. Who needs additional lines of text when you just have a 6/6 haste for 6? Morphos. Are they going to try to go off now? They might. They might have to. They're not that on board, mind you. They're only like they would go to. Oh, Jesus Christ! Really? Well, that's very unfortunate, isn't it? So they boarded that in, which is interesting. There's not a chance that they were playing with that in their main deck. But I sure didn't expect it, so we got real bad there. I'm not going to play the Turn Timber here for what I assume is pretty obvious reasons. Obviously, we're turned away from just using the better side of that card that isn't Glorified Forest. Oof, Damnation out of the Storm deck, though. Big yikes. You do hate to see it. Because that bought them so much time. That's a very good draw, I will say. That is a very good draw. This is going to put a severe damper on what they can do or not do. They might try to... Like, I think their best bet is actually to try to force it through this turn. Will they ever repeal? Like, counter the repeal? I think I do, actually. Countering the repeal is interesting, right? Because it's like, it's not strictly correct to like not to counter it, but it denies them a card, which I believe is more valuable. Like, either way this turn, I'm shields down, right? They can do whatever they want this turn. But this way, they at least have one less card in hand. And again, when you're talking about playing against the Storm deck, that difference is monumental. So I think that it was worth countering that card, even though it doesn't let me do anything about it this turn. Yeah, so again, we're just going to have to like watch them try to go off here and really just hope that they don't have it. But I do not like my chances. They have a hand full of gas, bunch of rituals, so we're like probably going to get got here. Like, they have a very, very good looking Storm deck from what I can see. And the fact that they drew their sideboard Damnation at the exact stage where they did was kind of unreal. Like, you know, oh god, they have a DT as well. All right, yeah, we're dead. We're just dead. I can't really think of a scenario where we're not just completely dying here. Man, I used to be able to consistently 1 and 2 Vintage Cube, but I don't know. I've been, or sorry, 2 and 1 Vintage Cube, but I've been 1 and 2 in like 3/4 of the games that I played Vintage Cube this season. And I'm not really sure what I'm doing wrong. I would love to have like a pro look over my plays or something, like somebody that cubes like a lot, and like is successful at it consistently. You know, like an LSV Marshall, like Caleb D type person. Because I'm sure that I'm missing something, but I mean, again, variance is also just what it is. But we have been on quite the losing spree recently, and it is a little disheartening, I will admit. Always hurts to kind of get so close and yet fall so short. But games like that last match, right, where we just drew mono islands in our mostly green deck, you know, they're not likely to happen, but they can be the difference maker between whether or not you have a functional deck or not, right? It can be that simple. Okay, come on, opponent. It can't take that long to figure out how to kill me. I have no counters. I mean, I guess they like, I don't know, maybe they're planning worst case scenario, like they're like worst case scenario planning around like a Force of Will or a Force of Negation to my hand or whatever, but like, I can't imagine it's that hard to figure out how to beat me from here when I have no interaction available, seemingly, and they have all the mana in the world. Maybe they went off too soon. They do only have 2 cards left, but like, what do they, like, if they get like, what do they do? They get Past in Flames. They've got 6 mana. Get Past in Flames. You leave yourself blue-black. Actually, no, they can't quite do that, can they? They get Ritual, sure. So then again, it becomes a question of what are your next 2 cards? Did they fizzle? It sort of seems like they might have, but I could be wrong. Are they just going to cast the Baby Drills here? Baby drills to stay alive and buy themselves time. Palincron. Okay. I mean, that's going to up their storm count, but not really accomplish anything else. Like, they don't have 7 mana, so Palincron is not actually... Like, if their last card is Flare... No, but then if their last card is Flare, what are they doing? Then they're just spinning wheels. Oh, Desire? Big yikes. Okay, well, we need them to brick off pretty spectacularly here. Seething Song is not a brick. That's a brick. That's a brick. Huh? Okay, Brainstorm, kind of rough. LED, kind of rough. So basically the Brainstorm now needs the brick, is where we need to be at. Which it might, because Brainstorm only draws the 1 card. They have no cards to put back, so they basically have to hit a good one off the Brainstorm here. Crack the LED, yep. So this is huge. If they don't find anything good in the top 3 cards, they're gonna... I mean, the funny thing is they're still just gonna have a 4 or 5 flyer that kind of kicks my butt, but they won't have anything to do with it beyond just like have it be an attacker / blocker. So like this is about the best I could hope for, reasonably speaking, but like awkwardly we're still kind of in bad shape. Which is a bit of a pain. Alright, what's the card you chose? Lots of mana, so if they can chain draw spells together, this would also be kind of rough. Interestingly, they don't have double black for Tendrils. Okay, just nothing. Okay. Ooh. Oh my. That's very interesting. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6. I'm never casting Memory against its opponent. Like, that's just asking to die. So we're not doing that. Yeah, I guess I'm just going to bounce this, because they have no guaranteed way of being able to recast it, and I think it's better to just get this thing off the battlefield now than anything else. The Memory is a dead card. That was basically just like a very bad unsummon, but I think that's fine. And I still have the Glenelendra Archmage against non-creatures. If they draw a land, they can just generate Infinite Storm, but not anything else. So again, it'll kind of be a question of what they have. They didn't want to do that. That's interesting. That's actually just the best land I could have drawn, because that is a land that lets me cast Turn Timber and still hold up in a Glenelendra Archmage. So you do love to see that. You do love to see that. You don't love to see that. Do I get the Slime and burn their black mana, or do I get the Ooze and, like, close out the game? I kind of want to get rid of their black mana, if we're being honest. Because it also gets rid of their 7th mana, which they now are back to not being able to cast Palincron with. What a bizarre game this has been. What a bizarre game this has been. Storm matchups are so weird. You're basically like always losing until you win. On like almost on both sides in a weird way. What does Trink find? It only finds yeah, I took out my shame I took out Ballista because it actually does look good here, but I think I still made like the overall correct choice. Yeah, let's just oh, what the heck? Idiot. Need to tap a blue for that. Oh my god, how am I so bad at counting? There we go. So all I get is Everflowing Chalice here. But hey, it draws a card out of my deck, which means I'm not going to draw Everflowing Chalice like next turn kind of thing. So let's just cast Chalice for kicker 1, because whatever. I'm not really going to try to tap this Ancient Tomb if I can avoid it, since that every time I tap it is one fewer storm count they need to kill me with Tendrils. And that's obviously not great. So I go to 5 here, and now they're dead on board, unless they force me to crack the Glenelendra, which they very well might. 3 cards in hand. Okay. What a weird game that was. What a weird game that was. I definitely feel like we got away with something there, not gonna lie. Like, my opponent kind of had to break off pretty spectacularly there to not win. But hey, they did, and like again, like that's sort of the play. That's the Storm matchup in a lot of ways, right? You play the best game you can and hope that your opponent doesn't get there. And like, to be fair, Mind's Desire is not a very good Storm card because of exactly that. Where like sometimes it'll just be the nuts, and you're like, wow, this is stupid. But sometimes it'll just be like 5 lands, have fun. And you're like, okay, well, that was a lot of buildup for absolutely no payoff. And that's seemingly what we got there. So, you know, don't mind that. So the Eureka there was obviously unplayably bad, but I still maintain that it's fine. They showed us Palancron now as well, which is like a little bit of a red flag for me, but I still think that the quality of the cards that I can put into play off of a Eureka, if it's good, is substantially higher than the quality of cards they can. But maybe I'm just dumb. Maybe I'm just playing this badly and I'm wrong about that. All I know is it's the kind of card that lets me cheat some of the cards that end the game out way ahead of curve, and that's kind of what you need to do to beat this kind of opponent. I'm going to keep it in. Whether or not it's wrong will be something for the scholars to discuss. But I'm happy with the choice to keep it. Yeah, I mean, this is a hand where I would love to draw Eureka, I'll tell you that much. So I'm on the draw. My opponent kept 7 on the play. This hand kind of doesn't do anything. Unless I, like, if you were to tell me that there's, like, a Eureka and a land in the top 3 draws of my deck, I'll keep this all day. But I feel like nobody can actually make that promise, and so I'm going to mulligan this. Yeah, this isn't great, but it's better. I'm actually going to put back... Man, what do I put back here? I think I put back the Rofellos. Rofellos really doesn't look like it's going to do much. Like, if we just draw Runner, Forest, I'll feel a bit silly, because I'll be able to... I could have cast the Sundering, but... Yeah, I think I need to keep the 3 lands. I definitely want to keep the Oko, and I think I need to keep the Glenelendra. And then it's basically like, do I want the payoff for drawing any ramp, or do I want the payoff for drawing specifically a bunch of forests? But then also not have a payoff for ramping in the first place. I have fewer ramp payoffs than ramp enablers, is basically my logic here, so I think I keep... This is actually fine, because this is essentially letting me play a quote-unquote turn 2 Oko. Electromancer. Didn't see that one before. That's interesting. Well, already kind of getting punished here, but yeah, we're going to do this. We're going to do this. Take the extra turn. That's very interesting. What do I do here? Island... Emeralds. I don't think I'm interested in just playing a naked Glenelendra, but it's much better. Like, yeah, I'm going to play the Glenelendra here, actually. I think that's going to work out better for me in the long run, because then next turn I can play Oko and still have Glenelendra up. I think this is the more mana efficient thing to do. It's very, very close. But I think the earlier I can get the Elendra out, the better. Because it is probably my best card against this opponent. Jesus, okay, sure. Recall away, opponent. That's not a bad one. And I can see why they just fired it off immediately. It ain't resolving if you don't. Alright, land. Okay, an island is actually great, because that actually lets me keep up double Alendra here, which is kind of everything I want. I'm gonna elk this. I think giving them a 3/3 instead of a 2/2 is better than letting them untap with something that potentially discounts several spells in a row and leads to a busted storm turn. Especially when they have this much gas in the tank. Again, definitely not the, like, necessarily... God damn it, I hate mirroring cameras. Definitely not the, like, the most, yeah, I don't know. It's not necessarily the correct line, but I think it's the line that leaves me dead the least things, if that makes any sense. Opponent considering repealing their own creature here? Yep. Okay, that's fair. Do I just counter the freaking repeal then? I kind of don't want to. This actually works out okay for me, I think. Like, the worst part of this repeal is that they're drawing an extra card. Yeah, no, I think I actually do let that happen. I do let that happen. Because now the Yoko is under no pressure. And meanwhile, I've still got this Glenelendra attacking and representing a bunch of counter magic. Which is going to make it, like, pretty difficult for my opponent to fight through that. Really interesting matchup, I will say. Really, really interesting matchup. I'm counting myself very fortunate that, like, we kept a medium hand, but, like, drawing the emerald kind of let this hand go off a little bit harder than it should have, and, like, we basically drew 2 pieces of power, and that 2.5, really, and that's really kind of letting us, like, take control of this game in a way that is going to be difficult for my opponent to fight through. Not impossible. I'm not going to claim victory yet by any stretch of the imagination, but difficult to be sure. God, if I can resolve this Sundering Titan, it's going to be so good. Alright. Can't counter that one, so you got it. Casting a Ritual. Is this bait? Can't really tell if this is bait. I'm going to let it happen. That one I'm going to counter because it draws them a card. That one I'm going to counter because it draws them a card. And I think that's worth denying. Mm-hmm. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I kind of want to go back to trying to elk this stupid thing. I think that's still fine. I think elking is better than making a random food. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but I can always make the emerald into a food kind of on command. And the more, like I said, the more I can cramp my opponent on mana, the longer I'm going to be allowed to stay alive, and the better chances I have of getting through this, if that makes sense. Yeah. Attacking the Yoko is fine. I get to go +5 or +2, make a food. Slime is a huge draw here. That's a really, really good draw for me. So I'll play a land, play Acidic Slime. Got him. Nice! Alright, we did manage our 2-1 after all.